Welcome everybody to Austin Underground Night Court. This time, an exciting discussion on the morality of Ariana Grande's newest single, Yes and. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. As per custom rules, our prosecutor will have the first opening statement. Michelle.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, jury, Justin, Vince. I thank you all for being here tonight so we can discuss this very important matter. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? So, Ariana Grande, don't get me wrong, I love her. Her music is great, her perfume line is cool, and the new song, Yes and, is good. However, I could see it being replayed over and over in an H&M dressing room. Elsewhere. To add, Ariana Grande's life was going so well. She had just been casted as Glinda in the upcoming movie Wicked, and on the set of Wicked, she met Ethan Slater. Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande had so much in common. They each knew the entertainment business, they each were singers, and they both had loving spouses. Or so we thought. Because that wasn't enough for them. Ethan and Ariana Grande both did wrong. It's not just Ariana here, let's get that straight. It's just the song that she put out is what is wrong in this situation. So, Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande unfortunately had an affair. Ariana Grande had been in a 3-year relationship with her husband, David Gomez. And Ethan Slater was with his high school sweetheart of 10 years, Lily. And they just had their first child. So, unfortunately, a lot went down and I can't wait to talk about it. So, we can move on.
I think that was a very powerful opening statement, so let's send it over to the defense. Vince, you have the floor.
Your Honor, members of the jury, opposing counsel, may it please the court. You know, we can't all be the Virgin Mary. Sometimes we're Mary Magdalene. Who are we without our sins? That's what I want to ask you, members of the jury. In July 2023, Ariana Grande, younger sister to philanthropist and socialite Frankie, and Ethan Slater, Broadway's favorite SpongeBob, publicly confirmed their relationship. The tabloids took to the story like moths to a flame. The circumstances around the two's relationship is, yes, unfortunate. Two couples ended, and after the fact, a new one formed. Yes, and what do us really have to say about it? Who are we to throw stones from glass houses? On the song, some might call it tasteless, some even tacky, perhaps, but what would anyone prefer, is the question I have for you. Would you rather have yes and I apologize from the bottom of my heart? People would call her insincere no matter what approach she chose, and Ariana has been around the block long enough to know this. Now, Yes and is an unapologetic ballad. There's that little line about boys putting on makeup. So it's not just about her. It's not just selfish. She's actually being quite selfless with this song. Let's talk about it. And what matters is what is done, and they're moving on responsibly. Slater is doing the best to become co-parents to his child, and frankly, it's no one's business. The only proof that we can find to back up that they were dating long before this relationship with their ex-spouses even ended is a load of hearsay. So, let's spend less time discussing the ethics of their relationship on Twitter and more time popping that cat in the club to yes and.
Thank you very much. And with our opening statements being finished, I now have a question for both the defense and the prosecution. Michelle, I will start with you. What do you think was Ariana Grande's worst thing that she did in the song Yes and why does that make her irredeemable in this case?
I thank you for asking that question because it brings me to my next point. In Ariana Grande's song Yes and, the song at the very end, she goes on a little rant and she says the words, "Why do you care who's blank? I ride." Why? The audacity that Ariana had. Of course, she's confirming the rumors that, yes, she is with Ethan Slater and she did take Lily's man. However, she is confirming that she is a homewrecker. She took the husband and the father of a 7-month-old baby and a 10-year relationship, Lily. I think it doesn't do her justice to put that into words because what reputation is she giving herself? Does she want to be known as a homewrecker? Because honestly, I don't think a lot of women want to be. I think a lot of women would want to stand up and be girls and support one another and know that what's theirs is theirs and what yours is yours. So the fact that Ariana Grande had the guts to say that, oh yeah, I did that, I took his man, does that give you any pride? Does that make you feel better? Because it doesn't make you look better. It just makes all those rumors and all those articles true. And all those things that your fans and his fans and everyone else had to say about you just be true in general. Why would you want that for yourself? But it's okay. It's Ariana's choice. And her choice of actions is what brought us here today. And so I conclude my statement.
Thank you, Michelle. And then a similar question to Vince. What is the most valid point that Ariana Grande had in her most recent single, and why does that make her redeemable?
I think it's actually the very point that my opposing counsel just brought up. Who does care whose blank she rides? It's none of our business. It's fun. First, that isn't an admission that she's a homewrecker whatsoever. Nowhere in that does she say, "Who cares if I ride a married person's blank." The language of that was a little bit tricky, let me be honest with you members of the jury. But we have no proof that they were doing anything when they were together that isn't just a source confirms or a source claims or certain people have an idea that X happened. We have no concrete proof that she actually homewrecked. You know, what was the alternative? Ethan Slater and Ariana Grande were just going to pine at each other within their respective relationships and just let the other person in their respective relationships just not know that they were in love with someone else the entire time? Is that even honest? That's a lie. They would have had to lie to their partners to keep this all under wraps. Clearly they're in love. Clearly that this was the best choice for them, was to step out of their previous relationships and be with each other. The kid's 7 months old. She's not going to remember any of this. I say let's live and let it be.
Thank you, Vince. I appreciate that. And now we're going to get into a more conversation-style format where you guys are going to cross-question each other. The first question will go to Vince.
Okay. So, I just want to know, Counselor Michelle, what evidence do you have to confirm that Ariana Grande is as you would put it, a homewrecker, beyond just X claims Y happened?
Thank you so much for asking that. So, let's get into it. Basically, Lily actually spoke out herself, and she told different sources and she told different news articles what to say because she wanted her truth to be put out as well. Why do we have to hear all about Ariana's point of view and Ethan's point of view, but we can't hear about David and Lily's? Lily had stated that she felt like Ariana was taking Ethan away from his family. And let me just point out that yes, he's 7 months old, but think about it this way. This couple has been together for 10 years, high school sweethearts and more. She's been with him through his ups and his downs and his whole career. So, 10 years. But now this first year of them having a baby would have meant that this year would have been their first Christmas and any holiday together. Instead, he was off with Ariana. Not saying that's Ariana's fault. That's all Ethan. But that just proves that what Lily said, that she felt that he was taking her away from his family. And she sort of is. I mean, like I said in the beginning, it's not all of Ariana's fault. It's just Ethan as well. But what Lily spoke out, what other sources said, and there was some photos from their set of Wicked where people did confirm that, yes, these two people did go into each other's trailers, and God knows what happened. But I rest my case.
And we have time for one more short question if you would like to add another.
I'm good.
All right. And Michelle, if you have any questions
Yes.
for the defense, now would be the time to ask.
Vince,
Okay.
in Thank You Next, Ariana states, "One taught me love, one taught me patience, and one taught me pain." So Vince, I'm asking you, do you think that Ethan or any of Ariana's future boyfriends will ever teach her loyalty?
Hey, I say the wind blows where it does, okay? Ariana's going with what she's feeling at the time, and can we really fault her for that? People aren't rocks. We don't stay in our places for years on end. We're constantly changing. We're constantly evolving. I think Ariana just might be a little bit more, I don't know, more of a fair weather person than others.
Okay.
If you have any more questions, now would be the time.
Okay. If you haven't watched Vince and I's Daisy Jones and the Six video, I would go watch it, okay?
Plug.
So you can understand what this means.
Plugging it.
You and I are huge fans of Daisy Jones and the Six, and
We
we
are.
both can agree that what Daisy Jones did to Camila and Billy of breaking up their marriage, not totally, but she did cause a lot of harm, and she actually did hold their own baby. Why is it not okay for fictional characters to do that, but when it comes to Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater, it's okay to you? Because Ariana did hold their baby and say that she wanted her own one day. Not with David, apparently she was thinking about Ethan. And also, why would you be okay with Camila and Daisy arguing about this, but not the other two?
What do you mean? The other two being
The other two
Camila
being-
and Ethan?
No. The other two being Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater being okay with this.
Okay. Well, to unpack the Daisy Jones of it all, Daisy, when she first of all is not a major pursuer of this
I'm
relationship.
gonna interject here. I don't think that we should be talking about a show irrelevant to the
Irrelevant.
case.
Got
Okay,
it.
okay.
So if
Kept
you
out,
if
of
you have a
course.
response that is more relevant to Ariana Grande,
Okay.
that would be welcome. Or if you want to edit your question.
Just why do you feel why it's not okay for fictional characters to have this sort of situation, but when the situation is in real life, why is it okay?
Listen, I'm not saying it's okay, and also I feel differently than you do. I think about the Daisy Jones
Okay.
and the Six situation,
My
and that's where I
apologies.
was coming from.
My apologies.
But I think that it's just a complicated situation, and it would be dishonest for either of them to stay in the relationship when they were both feeling the way they did, because clearly the relationship was at a point where it wasn't working anymore. I mean, they've been together for 10 years. People split up. Oh, and I think we're coming to...
Yes, we are coming
Closings.
to our closing statements. Each of you, if you would provide a brief concluding statement. Michelle, you will be up first as the prosecution.
Thank you. My closing statement is, although Ariana Grande is great as a musician and a business owner, what she provides in her music and speaks to the world and setting an example is just wrong. I think Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater could have handled this completely different. They could have, talked to their spouses first or done something else. But for the way that it came out and the way that they just laughed about it and with it and then created this hit song for it, I think it was just inappropriate and extremely wrong. And that is why I'm here today. Thank you.
Vince, as the defense, you will have the last word. Take the floor.
I'm gonna use the words of my fellow counselor. God knows. God knows what they talked about with their spouses. We don't know what conversations were had behind closed doors. We really can't talk about what went on between them. We don't know the full story, and it's frankly impolite to speculate. Sometimes people are at naturally colliding paths. We want to say that everyone can do good all the time, but life presents us with natural enemies, people that are impossible for us to get along with, people that are impossible not to have conflict with. And I think this is just one of those rough situationships. It's like two oceans crashing into each other. It's natural.
And with that, this court case will come to a close. Let's send it over to the jury, and let's see what they have to say about this case. And it appears that the jury has reached a split decision, and Ariana Grande is guilty by a vote of 2-1. And that court case, another split decision. Last semester's was also a split, and we have a 2-1. Ariana Grande, I hereby sentence you to 37 life sentences without the opportunity for parole.
Very good. Very good.
And as our court case comes to an end, so does this episode of Austin Underground. This week, we would like to congratulate our first new member of the week, Lucas. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This court has ruled that you have been a very valuable addition to the team this semester, and we're all very happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Of course. And that brings an end to the episode. Thank you, everybody, to checking it out. And check us out on all of our socials, and we will see you next week. Have a great night, y'all.